It's been over 3 years since we first received this Embody chair, so I'm just going to go through the chair, how it's held up, as well as my personal experience over that 3-year period. The build quality on the Embody is top-notch. It has some of the most advanced technology in an office chair, and it's made of high-end components throughout. This chair has been used a ton in our office, and only the fabric shows some wear. The frame, functions, arm pads are all still in pristine condition. Some people complain that the Embody can be a bit noisy, and while I do agree that it can creak due to the plastic from the pixelated system, I don't think that it's any more noisy than other high-end chairs with a lot of technology like the Leap and the Fern. I thought the Embody was one of the nicest chairs I had seen the day we took it out of the box, and my feelings haven't changed 3 years later. The seat is an area where I did change my mind on after I was able to put a ton of time into the Embody. I think the design of the seat is great. There really isn't any padding, but the suspended pixelated system does give it a softer feel than I expected out of a chair with no pad. The seat is also big, and it has some flex to it, so it does give you the ability to move around, stretch, sit cross-legged, use it in a variety of different ways. I think the seat depth adjustment is a bit clunky, especially for a chair that costs almost $2,000. I'd much prefer something like the Gesture, but it does its job and ensures that you will be fitted correctly with this seat. The one thing that I started to notice after extended use was pressure on my tailbone area. This is one of the reasons why I had this chair in a rotation instead of using it full time, and one of the contributing factors why I was willing to give it up after extended use in the chair. One thing about the Embody I really like is the arms. The arms on the Embody get a lot of hate, so I feel like I need to go to bat for them here a bit, just because I think the hate is unwarranted at times. The biggest complaints are that they are clunky and not adjustable enough, and while I do agree that they are more clunky than the majority of other chairs in this class, I do think it can be minimized if you know how to adjust them properly. They are big and difficult to adjust, but this is purposely done so that they don't move around when you don't want them to. If you pull up on them a little bit before moving them in and out, it is much easier to do and takes away most of the clunky feel, in my opinion. The pads do lack adjustment, and truthfully, I'd like if they had pad depth adjustment just to move them back a little bit, but I can easily make them work because the height and width ranges are massive. I like that the pads are huge. I think they are really comfortable because they have a little bit of squish to them, and they also have a nice flat design. The recline on the Embody is top of its class, and it still functions the same now as it did when we first got it 3 years ago. This is one of the main reasons you go with a Herman Miller chair, in my opinion. It is literally the number one thing that always has me coming back to try the Embody, and it's why I always try to use the Aeron in our conference room. I just love the recline on these chairs. It's amazing because it has a very deep motion, but it's also very easy to use the entire range. You can sit straight up, and you can also recline all the way back effortlessly. It's just so smooth and so easy to do. There's just nothing like having a recline like this. I think this is the best you're going to find for a home office environment because it pairs a really smooth, deep motion for relaxing, as well as the ability to use it in an upright position for more task-intensive or gaming applications. I think the backrest is the most common thing on the Embody that either makes or breaks the chair for people. It is really tough for me personally because I am someone that loves things about the backrest but also hates things about the backrest. I love the skinny design paired with the pixelated system, giving you arguably the biggest range of motion out of any office chair. You can really move your arms, bend, stretch, because you're not restricted by a hard chair frame. This is accentuated by the super flexible materials, and it's pretty incredible how much you can move around in the chair. One factor that I'm not a fan of is the lack of lumbar adjustment. The back has a pronounced natural curve, and it is harder plastic. The lumbar is a bit more than I would like, but still tolerable. After using the chair for extended periods though, the combination of never being able to move it being harder plastic, and being quite pronounced does start to make my back sore. The curve of the backrest is the second reason that does make me feel uncomfortable. It has a large inward curve near the top, which can push your shoulders forward. This makes me feel like my chest muscles are being contracted. These are big factors in me remaining open to trying a new chair, which ultimately led me to the Leap and now the Fern. I hope sharing my 3-year experience with the Embody helps you to decide whether or not this would be a good office chair for you. If you're interested in hearing about my current number one chair pick, check out this video on the Hayworth Fern.